Sometimes after dinner, Melissa will be loading the dishwasher. She is the designated loader. My dishwasher loading looks kind of like Jackson Pollock used dishes to make a painting situation. So I think it's a nice evolutionary creation. She finds it very offensive, but I am a good dishwasher unloader. She's in charge of putting the dishes in or overseeing that. But it'll be dinner time or after dinner time, and I'll be sitting at the kitchen table, and she'll be loading the dishwasher, and I'll be looking off through the glass of the kitchen door, and she'll say, "What's up? What's going on in there?" And I will say, "Do you mean now or 3 seconds ago?" Because in the span of 3 seconds, I might have had about 7 thoughts. And that looks like I'm always sort of noodling on the dreams and thoughts that I have going on, and I have a lot of them, and they can feel quite overwhelming. And you probably can relate to this. There are lots of things sort of in my dream escrow, I guess you would call it, and sometimes when I sit down and just have a moment, they'll start to play through. But we're always told to have and keep your dreams, and I believe that's true. And I can also find that the sheer pile of things that I'm interested in doing can be very paralyzing. So, like for instance, I'm working on writing a play right now, and I'll start writing a scene, sit down to write the scene, and then my brain will think, well, is this going to pay off? Will this ever get produced? Or are you actually going to be able to write a play? And I believe that I can. I've written narratives before that I think are decent, and yeah, but the brain starts to ask, is this going to pay off? Can we have a guarantee of success on this? And the truth is we can't. And so therefore, we look for a prescribed path that will guarantee a successful outcome. It also makes me stuck. It makes me stop in my tracks. And so, like you do, you search on YouTube for a video to answer your questions. I wasn't searching this time, but I think I did procrastinate via YouTube. And the algorithm actually delivered up a really surprising answer for me. And it was from this creator named Dr. K, and he has a channel called Healthy Gamer. And somehow I found him through an interview because I wouldn't be looking for a gamer channel, but I found him through an interview, and he has really terrific resources, really great videos, I will say. I don't like using the word content, but he has terrific content. But he had this really terrific video, and I'll link it in the description. He has a really terrific video about one of the things that paralyzes us, that sabotages us, and he says that it's dream overload. And I'll explain. So he talked about the 12 steps. So in the 12 steps, you have steps 8 and 9, I believe, are the steps in which you make amends for the ways that you've hurt people. And when people start to make amends, it really helps them to succeed in overcoming their addictions. The reason is they are releasing a literal cognitive and moral load when they say, I'm sorry, I can't repair that, I can't fix what I did, or how can I repair it in some way? Sometimes you can. But to really acknowledge the hurt you've done and ask for forgiveness is a cleansing and an experience that takes weight off of you. And so the same is true if you've got a gajillion little things nattering in your head, like, I owe that person an email, I still have to get that birthday card, oh my gosh, I have to change the air filter in the furnace, So even these little things, if you don't offload them on a list or know that, they can really buzz around in your brain and make you a little cuckoo. Same thing with dreams. So what he was saying was, a lot of times we have so many dreams, and we don't, and I even I journaled about this a couple weeks ago, that if I realized, I'm like, so if I have 8, and if I were to focus on 2, that meant that I was going to have to say no, at least for now, to 6 things. And that felt scary. The ironic thing is, when I said yes or maybe to all 8, then I did 0. So you sort of live with this illusion of like, I have my dreams, I can get to them one day, and then you hit midlife where I am firmly ensconced, and you're like, I actually don't have unlimited time, and you're actually never guaranteed time. So I listened to Dr. K, and he talked about this process, and I tried it. What he recommended was to make a list of your dreams. To make a list of your dreams and dreams and regrets. Just write them all down. And the way I did it was I sat down. Well, I sort of just like let them percolate for a day. I went for a jog, just let them sort of play around in my head to crystallize. And I sat down and I wrote them down. And then it took a little bit more time to sort of let them marinate on the page. And then one morning I went to the list and I just started crossing off some dreams that I felt like I could let go of. And I was expecting it to be really sad. And it might still be a little sad, and I might not have processed it. But I will say the feeling that I had when I did it was I felt lighter, I felt clearer, I felt inspired, I felt encouraged. I felt like I can look at these 2 remaining goals and I can put my focus in that direction with satisfaction and confidence. A couple of things happened that were surprises. One surprise was that when I crossed some dreams off the list, it wasn't like I was smashing them or crushing them or killing them. It was more like what I saw, it was like I was acknowledging that these dreams, it was like they were birds with wings. Yeah, birds have wings, yeah. But they had wings. And it was literally the if you love something or somebody, set it free. And so I did that. I literally saw this dream fly away. And I thought, well, you're going to migrate where you need to go, and maybe you'll hatch an egg one day that hatches an egg another day that, a few generations down the line, your grandchild or great-great-grandchild might fly back to me. If you want. Like it was this release that I gave the dream permission to fly away. And if it wanted to fly back, it could. That was a really, even as I talk about it right now, it's an exciting feeling because that really tells you that something is meant to be if it'll come back in your life. The other element of that is I realized some of these dreams were outcomes that I really had no control over. I could work toward that certain outcome, but some of the dreams involved being cast in a certain show, or I think they all involved being cast in a certain show, or a certain place, So I realized I don't have control over that either. There are steps I could take to make that happen. But what it crystallized for me was what I really love and what brings me great joy and satisfaction. And that is, I love to share stories. I love to sing. And I love to sing and share stories in a way that makes your day, your life better. If I know that I was involved in music and a story that touched you and moved you and in a deep way and helped you, that is satisfaction to me. And so I realized, there are a lot of ways that I can engage in that I have direct agency over right now, and that is writing the play. That's getting the play on its feet. That's scheduling a day in the fall for a performance here at the conservatory where I can give it a first workshop try. You know, putting my ass on the line and showing up for it. And those are things I did, and I wouldn't have done those things if I hadn't sat down with this list and marked off a few things. So because I couldn't focus. And I want to recommend that exercise to you. Let these dreams noodle around in your head and your heart. Sit down, write them all out. And when you're ready, I would say write them all out and then give them a 24-hour period. You might not need it. You might just know as soon as you write it down. That's fine too. But give yourself time to let that marinate. Go for a walk, move your body, get out around trees and grass, and let that integrate, percolate, connect. Let some clarity come for you. And then sit down and start to cross off some things that you feel like I can let that fly. The other thing to remember is this is like, say if you're decluttering your house and you're like, I'm not sure, this is a maybe. I'm not sure if I can part with this yet. You can put it in a maybe box. So you can have a maybe box, put that in the garage, label it with a date, put it in your calendar. In 6 months, I'm going to check the maybe box to see if I actually need these items. You can do that with your dreams too. So you can put a dream in a maybe box. And that way you can revisit it in 6 months or a year and see, wow, is that dream still alive in me? And the thing is, Tabitha Brown is one of my favorite people on the interwebs these days. You should follow Tabitha Brown. But she talks about that. She says a dream is something that God plants in you. Or she says deposits in you. But I believe that God plants a dream in you. And it's not a cruel joke. It's there for a reason. So pay attention to if something won't leave you alone, if something still lives inside you, that's there for a reason. So, if you try to put it away and it's like, I'm still here, then pay attention to that, follow that. Barbara Deutsch, who's a wonderful career coach in Los Angeles, she talks about it like, she calls it the pilot light. And she said, if you don't stoke that flame and use it, then it just slowly burns you up from the inside. And I've experienced that in life too. So I want to encourage you to mark off some dreams off of your list so that you can really focus on a dream or two and make steps in that direction so that you have satisfaction. Because I've been thinking of this a lot lately. If you can do something today that makes somebody else's life better, one person's life, it is worth it. It is worth it. Somebody else's life better by your one action, it's worth it. So I hope this video has made you, one person, have a better day and a clearer outlook on things. I want to invite you to do that exercise. I'll post Dr. K's video on it in the description as well, so you can watch the original video. It's really terrific. And let me know how this goes for you. All right. Well, let's see. I will say, remember that there is indeed only one you, and somebody needs to hear the story that only you can share. All right. I'll see you in the next one.